Welcome to today's lesson, which is about using box plots to analyse data. The goals of today's lesson are that you can use a box plot to answer questions about a data set, and you can use medians and interquartile range to compare groups. So here we have two box plots analysing the weight in grams of berries and grapes, or showing us the weight in grams of berries and grapes. And we can see that the median weight of berries, if we were to draw that down to about here, is 3.5 grams, and the median weight of grapes is 5 grams. So we would say that grapes are typically heavier than berries. Something to note about both of them is that their interquartile range is the same. So if you look here from on the berries, this is at 2.5 and the upper end of the interquartile range is at 4. So subtracting 2.5 from 4, the interquartile range is 1.5. And here for the grapes we have 4.5 here to 6. So that means your interquartile range here is also 1.5. So having the same interquartile range means that there's a similar variability in their weight. Even though the grapes are heavier than the berries, typical grapes vary about as much as typical berries do. Let's look at another example looking at the weights of different bugs, looking at ladybugs and beetles. And in this situation, they have the same median. Let me highlight that there. Here's your median. It's at 9 millimeters, but there's a much smaller interquartile range of ladybug lengths compared with beetle lengths. And this means that the typical ladybug length is similar to a typical beetle length, but the ladybugs are all much more alike in their length than the beetles are in their length. And if you think about it, the ladybugs that we see in our gardens are all pretty much the same size, whereas beetles I see around the place at least can vary very much in size. So I'm not surprised to see a much bigger interquartile range for the lengths of the beetles. So to summarize, when two box plots show the same median but different interquartile ranges, it means that the data they summarize have the same center but different spreads. So let's go back and look at the bugs. The same median, so they have the same median weight but much different spreads. Beetles have a much bigger spread in length, not weights, in length. And when two box plots show the same interquartile range but different medians, it means the data they summarize have different centers but the same spread, and we saw that in the example with the berries and the grapes. So to recall today's goals, you saw how to use a box plot to answer questions about a data set and how we can use medians and interquartile range to compare groups. We compared the weights of berries and grapes, and we compared the lengths of ladybugs and beetles. And that's the end of today's lesson.